We'll do a brief team introduction right now. We're 3 FLLC teams merged into one FTC team, Team Tigers, the Helix Hackers, and the Flaming Lego Legends. We have a combined 9+ years of FLLC experience. We've been awarded First Place Championship Award at the qualifier level 4 times. We've qualified for the Maryland State Competition 6 times. We've won the Global Innovation Award twice. And we've qualified for the World Competition once. Our goal is to inspire more kids to join and succeed in FIRST programs by sharing our experiences and knowledge. We all had so much fun doing FLLC, and we'd love for more students to experience that.
Our agenda for today is: what are attachments? Why do you use attachments? Types of attachments. We will have a live demo on building an attachment, mounting attachments, jigs, gears, another live demo on jigs and gears, tips and tricks, a quiz, and sneak peek for next week.
So now we'll get into attachments. So what do you all think attachments are? Type your definition into the Slido poll. You can access this with the QR code or the link in the chat. We'll check it out right now. So you can type your answers and we'll be able to see how it looks, what you guys all think. We'll wait another minute so you guys can just get your answers in, and we'd love to see what you guys think before we start the session. Okay, so someone said pieces that you attach to the robot. That is true, that's true. That is true. Any other responses? Attachments are like the limbs of the robot which are used to perform certain tasks. That's actually a really good answer and a really good analogy. That is really close to actually the actual definition of it. They are things that you attach to the robot to help complete missions and complete tasks. Yeah, missions, tasks. You guys are on like the extra pieces to help complete missions. You guys are like on top of this. You guys like already know what attachments are. So we'll go back into the Google Slides and we can reveal the answer. So, as many of you said, attachments are add-ons to the robot, and they help accomplish missions. Attachments can come in many different forms, as they can be light, heavy, big, or small. You can see this mission model here, and it's from two seasons ago, the Into Orbit season. For the mission, you have to hit this orange launch pad to propel the rocket upwards. So this is one attachment. It's a tire hammer that hits the orange pad hard enough so that the rocket can propel upwards. This is another attachment that another team built that has a weight drop from a high elevation that smashes the orange pad so that the rocket can be lifted up. Notice how both of these attachments are very different, but both were able to complete the mission.
Why do you use attachments? Attachments are very important as they are used to complete missions. Robot design. Innovative attachments can show the judges how you think outside of the box. You may be able to do better in judging sessions if they think that your attachment is innovative. With robot game, most missions Teju, can you please go back to the slide? Robot game. Most missions require an attachment of some sort so you can score more points. With attachments, you can complete your missions consistently. Consistency is very important in FLLC. You want to try and get the same successful results every single time. With attachments, your missions may be slightly more consistent. You also want your attachments to be efficient. Without attachments, you will have to do more runs, which take more time, which is inefficient, and every second counts in the 2 minutes and 30-second match.
Now we will talk about the types of attachments. There are 3 main types of attachments. One, dynamic attachments, which rely on the use of a motor. 2 passive attachments, which do not rely on motor and can be moved through the robot's movements or through external forces such as gravity. And 3 elastic attachments, which move through the stress of a rubber band, as you can see in the picture.
Dynamic attachments. What are dynamic attachments? Dynamic attachments are attachments powered by a motor. They are most common and useful form attachments as they provide motion that is easy to control. The displayed dynamic attachment is the hook. This uses a medium motor to lower and higher the hook, hence dropping the payloads. The mission is to pick up the satellites and drop them in a certain place.
We will now discuss passive attachments. Passive attachments are attachments that do not rely on a motor. It relies on the robot's movements and gravity, and it can be left on the robot as long as it doesn't interfere with other missions. It is useful for simple missions and missions that do not require motor power. For example, you can see this robot on the side. It has these white and gray piece railings that are the attachments on this robot. These white and gray attachments help push these blocks into the circle without them moving around as we push it.
Elastic attachments. An attachment that uses the elasticity of a rubber band to provide motion for the attachment to complete the mission or task. As you can see below in the picture below, this attachment uses a rubber band to trigger the tire to spin. To create an elastic attachment, you must have the approved Lego rubber band. This is found in the Lego Education quiz set. We will now have a live demonstration on building attachments. In this live demonstration, we will learn how to build an attachment, what they look like, how to put an attachment on your robot, with gears and without gears, and a sample attachment from last season. Please be patient as we set up this demonstration.
Okay. Hello everyone. So I'm Aryan from Helix Hackers, as you guys must have seen. And today I'm going to show you how to make one attachment. I think that we've already learned about that one where you have to you have to slam the something on the pad to make the rocket go up. I'm going to show you how to make one example that was used last year when it was actually the time to do that. So first, let's just go over the pieces. So we need 2 of these. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. These are 15 beams, and the way that you calculate that is you just count the holes in the beams. And then, so since we know that that's a 15 beam, and this one is, 2 holes less, this one, you need 2 of the 13 beams. I remember, these are just the way that one team used it. You guys do not have to do it this way. And this is just an example. These are, since that was a 13 beam, these ones are 9 beams. So you need 2 of those. And the way that you calculate the axles are, you put them against the beam. And then you just, however long that axle is compared to the beam. Wait, give me a minute. Let me just show you guys. Just compared to how long the axle is to the beam. So this would be an 8 axle, and on this axle there's this thing at the end, so that it'll stay in the picture frame, which I'm going to show you next. So this is a picture frame. This is what's going to attach it to the robot. This is a gear, which we'll get into later. This is another beam. I can show you guys how long it is later. And you guys just want to get a bunch of pegs. If you want to make this with me, you can, but you don't have to. So these are just a bunch of pegs. Specifically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pegs. 2 of the white, yellow. Place these make it so that the end of the gear or the axle that does not have this will stay on the picture frame if you put this. And so I have this gear. This can be 2. You can substitute this gear with 2 of these, since I'm not going to use this gear to actually attach it in the picture frame. So you can replace this with 2 of these, but I'm just going to use that as a placeholder. You need a wheel, as this is what's going to hit that pad to launch it up. you need 6 of these. This is a 4 by 4, and it's a slanted at 45 degrees. You need what's it called? 4 of these red pegs. You need 2 of these L beams or 4 by 2 beams, and you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these blue and tan beams. If it doesn't really matter the color, it really doesn't matter. You need these pegs. One end there's an axle peg, and the other end it's a peg. So that's pretty much all the pieces. And so now I can show you guys how to build it. So first you want to start with the frame. This is what's gonna attach. This is gonna attach essentially to this, so that it can attach to the motor here to move the attachment. So what you want to do is put this here. Put this here, and we want to attach this into this, so that this can attach on here, and this is what's gonna move the attachment up and down. You guys will see that. So then I'm gonna put one of these pieces into this. Give me a minute. 1 minute. So like that, and then so just like that, and then I'm gonna put the what's it called, gear. This is the gear that's gonna connect into the robot. Then I'm gonna put another one of these. So this is gonna connect to the rest of the attachments. So now this is basically the base of what the attachment is gonna be. So we just need to do that, and then, like I said before, we need to pull this out a little bit so that we can put one of these bushings, so that the attachment doesn't move around a lot. Then we're going to put another one on the other end. And then that's it for this base. So then what we want to do is we're going to split this apart just a little bit, so that we can get this peg in there. Okay. This peg and this peg, so that we can sorry about that. So this peg, so there's 2 parts to this peg. There's this part, and this part allows it to go into something, but it can't go into it more. So this part is the 2 part where this peg can go all the way through, as seen. So what I want to do with this part is specifically, I just want to attach what's it called? Give me 1 minute. Both of these to this, like so. So what I'm going to do is just attach this here and put one of those black pegs into this. Wait, sorry, not those black pegs, one of these pegs. Just put a black peg for right now. Okay, so one of these into here, so it connects like this. And you want to make this side the same as this side, so we need to just do the same thing, essentially. So just put this through there and put this through there. And then what we have to do is just attach all of these. So now the attachment can go up and down like a claw, so that, sorry about that, so that we can hit that thing into that pad so that it can go down. But now we have to build it so that this wheel has some force to hit that pad. So now what we do is, give me a minute. So all we have to do is attach these. You don't really have to do this, but I like to do this. So all you have to do is attach these. Attach this into this. Set this. Like so. Wait, sorry about that. So what we actually do is, so I want this piece to stick out a little bit, like like this, if you can see this. So like this. And then once I get this done, I have to do the same thing on the other side. So just give me 1 minute. And for this side, all I'm gonna do is give me a minute, sorry about that. So this peg should not have been this type of peg. You should actually use a black peg, at least for this attachment. I'm gonna use a black peg instead, because as you'll see later why I need that other peg in a few minutes. Okay, so now I attach this onto here. Okay, and then the same thing on the other side. Can everyone see my thing or no?
I can see.
Okay. Can you?
I can see now.
Okay, good. So then we're gonna take this peg, this beam, the 13 beam, and stick it into here, like so. And so for that, then we're gonna use these pieces. I'm gonna put one here, and we're gonna put one here. And we're just gonna put this through here. And we're gonna attach it to the other side. So now all we have to do is make sure that we get this in here. So this like so. And so what we're gonna do to attach that is use another one of these. And then another one of these. So one won't do it because then, look, it can move up and down. So you wanna put at least two. At least two. So I'm gonna put just two because I don't think there needs to be more than two. But if you think so, then you can put more than two, but I don't think so. And something that's really critical is that this side is the same length as this side. You don't want to do this. This is not good. This is not good because then at the top, this is uneven, and I'll show you later how this affects the attachment. So since this wheel is pretty big, this isn't gonna fit. So I need to make it a little wider. So all I'm gonna do is just add another piece. Or another beam. This is the 9 beam. Sorry about that. Okay, so now it looks like this. It's growing a little bit, obviously. So now all you have to do is put this in like so. Into this. And so now you got your base. Okay, so now since through here, all that can go is an axle. So now we need to put this so that there's an axle hole in this, as here there's no axle hole. So now I'm just gonna put one of these for just so that there's an axle hole. I'm gonna attach it using those red things. Oh, those red pegs. Same thing on the other side. This is really crucial that you do the same thing on every side so that at the end, that wheel aligns perfectly in the middle. I'll show you that in 1 minute. So now it's like this. Now it's time to put the wheel. That's gonna actually hit that attachment or that launch pad so that that rocket can go up.
Your video is off. We can't see it.
What?
Your video is off.
You can't see it? Can you see it now?
Yeah, now that you turned your video on, yeah.
Oops. Wait, you didn't see the whole thing?
We
No,
saw
it
the
just-
whole. We saw
it just
most of it, and then you just turned off your video for some time.
Yeah, it was just like a few seconds.
Oh, sorry about that. So now this is basically the whole attachment at this point. And so what's gonna happen is this just is good. I'll turn on my robot over here so that this attachment will go. Give me 1 minute to attach it. Okay. so that this attachment can go here, essentially, to hit that up and down. And that's it for this live demo. I know it was a long one. Sorry about that.
Now we'll get back into the presentation. So we're just doing questions right now. So I'll switch to Slido, and you can type your questions into the Slido, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. You can find the link for the chat Slido in the chat, or just feel free to unmute yourself at this time. And we'll see the questions here. So someone asked, what is the maximum size that you need that your attachments can be? So we mentioned this before, but attachments can be any size. They can be big, small, light, or heavy. It just depends on what your robot can handle. For example, if you have like a super heavy attachment, it can weigh, like if you have a super heavy attachment that connects to the motor, it can weigh down sometimes, but just be careful with that. But there's no set rule on the size of your attachment.
Is there a kit you need to buy for attachments? No, there's not a specific kit you need to buy for attachments. However, you have to make attachments using your pieces and also your imagination.
So like if you have those pieces that you saw in the live demo from before, you can just order the robotics, the core set, the Lego Education core set, and that should be good to give you your pieces.
So why in the live demo did you need a specific color for the peg? You do not need a specific color. The color is defined like how big and how short the peg is. So that's why you might need a specific color, but you don't the color only defines how big and short it is.
Yeah, it's just like in your normal Lego kits, like if you're building just a normal Lego ship, for example, some bricks are colored gray, some are blue. Yeah, the kits don't have a defined color for each thing, but some blue, you have to think about how long they are and where they end and stuff like that. The color really does not matter. Any other questions? Just feel free to unmute yourself or just type it into the Slido. We should be getting it.
You can also raise your hands and we can unmute you if you want.
When I tried typing in the Slido, it wouldn't load, so can I just type it in the chat?
You can just say it right now if you have a question.
If you purchase a kit, and then do you have to use all the pieces in a kit, or like do you not have to, or like do you have to use all the pieces?
No, you don't need to use like there's no maximum pieces, there's no minimum pieces. You can just use whatever pieces you need. There's nothing that says you must use every single piece in the kit. Any other questions? If that's all for now, we'll have another. Oh wait, sorry.
Do you need an attachment? Yes, you definitely need an attachment because attachments help you complete missions and they're far more efficient than just using your robot.
There are like some missions where you may be able to like not have an attachment, like the blocks example. Like you could always just try pushing it with your robot. It's just not going to be consistent. Some blocks might just like go a different direction than where you want to push it. So you should try to always have attachments when it's necessary. So we'll just go back into the slideshow and then there'll be another opportunity to ask questions. So now we'll discuss mounting attachments. So modular attachments are attachments that can be easily attached and detached to the robot. It makes transactions between runs efficient. So attachments can be swapped between the runs for each mission, since you may not have the same attachment for every mission. You only have 2.5 minutes to complete your missions and that counts for the time it takes to switch between attachments. Every second counts, so if you have a modular attachments, it'll be easier and faster. You should try to make all of your attachments modular. Now we'll show you a video from one of our FLLC teams and their modular attachments. So as you saw, that was an example of a modular attachment, as you saw how easy it was to take off and put on the robot.
Jigs. Jigs are used to align the robot and get an accurate starting position. They provide code simplification and consistency as less movements are needed and the starting position is immune to error. Jigs can be made out of extra pieces. They are often against the wall or align at base for support. Jigs can only be in the base area because if they are on the mat, you will get a penalty. You can see how the robot aligns with the jig on the picture below. Note that jigs aren't attachments as they do not complete missions, they just help with starting position.
So what are gears? Gears are used to change the speed and direction through the turning of other gears. The size of the gear can be used to speed up or slow down motion. You should use gears as it allows rotational motion provided by the medium motor to be transferred to other spots on the robot. It allows the robot to complete missions in different positions. For example, you can take a look at the attachment over here. It shows how gears transfer the motion from the medium motor over here all the way to this beam over at the bottom. Gears for the most part are connected to the medium motor to move attachments faster. An important type of gear would be the 4-knob gear you can see here. It is a basic gear that is important when connecting the motor to attachments. We will now have another live demonstration on jigs and gears. We will show our jigs, pieces used in building a jig, and how to build one. We will also show you some gears, how gears connect to the medium motor, different types of gears. Please be patient as we set up this live demonstration.
Hello everyone. So last time, since we were running a little bit out of time, I did not show you how the actual attachment works. So essentially, give me 1 minute. So essentially what's gonna happen is this is gonna move up and down. So up, down. It needs to go fast down so that it can actually hit that pad so that the rocket will launch up fast. So like that, very fast. So now let's get into the actual jigs and gears. So jigs are these pieces. So essentially, can you guys see it? This. So essentially what would happen is that this part would align with the wall of your mat, and this part here, your robot, would start here. So it would look like this. And on the mat, it would look like this. Give me a minute. So essentially it would look like this. So you see the wheel is aligning. Sorry, this is the wrong way. So like this. So this is aligning here. So that your robot, when it leaves the jig, it is perfectly aligned. This is way easier so that you don't have to count the boxes on the mat to align. This can be adjusted very easily and very fast. So this is basically what a jig is. And so now we can get into gears. Gears are very small pieces. So they're this, and this. So this, and this. So gears essentially connect together, and when one gear moves, so if this gear moves, it's really hard to show, but like when this gear moves, this gear is moving with it. So they're both moving at the same place. So it goes around. So when they move together, they move the other gear, which makes that gear that we just saw a few minutes ago, it makes it easier to make your attachments. So here are some examples of attachments. This is very, very simple. So the other attachments we saw were very, very complicated or can be complicated, but these are very simple. So these, and we've got this, this, which is an example of a passive attachment. So essentially all it does is, let me take this top attachment off real quick. So yeah, you want to make your attachments come on and off easy. So like that was not very easy to come off because every second counts. And so if you make, if you make your robot, so like there's a lot of pegs on our robot as we added those, but that's not good. You don't want to put those because that makes it really hard to take on and off. But this attachment will be way easier to take on and off if those pegs, those 5 pegs were only like 2 or 3. But those pegs also help it stay aligned. So you want that. So essentially what happens is this robot, this attachment just gets on the bottom. So it's not using any motor. There's no motor anywhere to connect to this. So this just pushes the blocks in and out or pushes something into something else. So passive attachments can be fast to put on and off is what I'm getting to. So that's it for jigs and gears. And yeah, that's it for the live demos today. Bye.
So we'll go back into the presentation and we have a few more slides to get through.
Tips and tricks for building attachments. Your attachment should be compact, sturdy, close to the robot, consistent, strong, and efficient. Try to make your attachments easy to put on and take off. Remember, you only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to perform all your missions during the robot game, including changing your attachment, changing your attachments. One attachment should be used for solving multiple missions. You can use the same attachment multiple times for different missions, or you can use one attachment to do multiple missions at the same time. Remember, there is no such thing as a wrong way to complete a mission, so be creative with your attachments. Just make sure that your attachment is efficient and consistent. As long as you have a good strategy and it works, you should be fine.
So we'll now be taking more questions on Slido, or you can unmute yourself at this time. Okay, here, we'll go here for the questions. You can type in any questions that you may have, or you can unmute yourself at this time.
You can also raise your hand and we can unmute you if you want.
For jigs, when you're building I mean during the live demo, he said like you can easily adjust them and like the little like picture frame things. Is there like always going to be a different place for you to start?
So when you're building the jigs, you can really just put them anywhere. It just depends on where your mission is. So if a mission is facing like that way, you can just turn your robot that way. If it's facing forward, you can point it that way. Your jig can be accustomed to any other way you want it to turn. So you can put it on any wall or any line. It's the point of the jig is just so that you don't have to like count squares and memorize the position, because that's really hard to do.
Any more questions?
You can type your questions in here. We'll give you like a few more minutes to type it in.
Teju, I would like to answer Gia's question as well, add to what you said.
Sure.
So Gia, I think you got it right. You can have multiple jigs for different missions. So your robot can start at different points in the base. So some missions may be in the north side of the table, some missions may be on the east side of the table, as Teju was saying. So for tackling different missions, you may need to start at different points in the base. And so you can bring in as many jigs as you want. And it helps you define that starting point for the robot. So yes, that's a good question. And you can bring in multiple jigs, and that helps you define different starting points for the robot.
If you guys have any more questions, we'd be glad to answer them. You can just type them in here. I'll still take some questions on Slido. Just feel free to unmute yourself otherwise.
Or raise your hand.
We'll give another minute for questions, and then we can almost wrap up the slideshow. Okay, we'll go back into the slideshow since there seem to be no more questions. So we have prepared a quiz under the Slido poll section. It is only 6 questions and it's just to test what you've learned today. Don't worry too much about it as it's just for fun. You can join the Slido by the QR code or the link in the chat. It's been open a little bit before this, so we can just give you guys like a minute or so to do it, to start it at least. Okay, so we'll just keep moving on, but you guys can keep working on the quiz since we're just wrapping up.
Sneak peek for next week. Next week, we will learn about, drumroll please, basic programming. In this session, we will discuss what LEGO Mindstorm EV3 is, basic blocks, how to move forward and back, and how to turn.
Thank you for joining us today to learn about attachments, and we hope that you learned something new. Please fill out our feedback form that will be provided in the chat to let us know how we did. You can sign up for our other Zoom classes on our website or on the same Google form from before. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at helixhackersftc@gmail.com. We will be sending an email later tomorrow with some extra resources and this slideshow. Thank you.